Druss here, and welcome back to another Conquest Refgorged stream. Today we're going to be finishing off this building here, and Sil just left. That is tragic, Scout. That's very, very unfortunate. I would have liked for her to have been here. But we must plough on anyway. Scout, I hope you're well. And yeah, no, we're going to finish off this one room in the building. Let's have a look. Say hello to Scout and wherever she is. And as usual, working on some fairly magnificent areas here. That looks really, really well. So it does. I have my own contribution to this, and that is this little well here. Oh, Sil, hello! And this well is the limit of my involvement. Someone has added greenery. Scout perhaps has added greenery. So this is the well that I did. Yeah, this is the well that I've done. And that's that. That's my little contribution. Sil, hello. How are you doing? Good to see you. Oh, Sil, thank you for saying hello. Much appreciated. I'm hoping internet connection is there. Listen, Sil, I really don't want you to be up when you're not up. Sil lives on the literal opposite side of the planet to myself. Therefore, in a very, very different time zone, and I don't want anyone to be in any way inconvenienced just to be on the stream here, but it's great to have you. Now, okay, so in a previous stream, we have basically furnished this entire building from cellar to top floor, and then I was loath to wait to stream to do another thing, so I just knocked together a small building over here. I'm not entirely sure what's going to be yet. I'm thinking residential, but maybe not. And then I realised that we need, given that this is the main square and it's a financial powerhouse, we need a bank. So I think a bank will go here. But for now, let's get... You weren't saying... Oh, well, that's good. That's good in a way. And the fact that you weren't just staying up for me is slightly disappointing, but we'll live with that. It's good to have you anyway, as always. Okay, so let's get going on the final room, which is this the floor? No, this is the second to last floor. So one more floor. And in the last stream we achieved excuse me, my thing. We have another person. Astrea, hello, how's it going, Astrea? Good to have you. So we completed this room here. It was initially going to be a storeroom, but I felt it didn't make sense having a bit of a storage area out here and another area in here. So this became servants' quarters. Scout says, uh-oh. Oh my good, sweet zombie savior. Thank you very, very much. I can only blame Scout for this. Yeah. So as you can see, somebody's been busy drinking, and while this is perfectly and spilling things, while this is perfectly adequate for myself. In fact, I think I could be quite happy here if these were all port, or wine at a shot. I think that it's perhaps best if we don't make this my secret skooma den. I think it'd probably be best if we just maybe left one or two. And thank you, Scout. Very, very good joke. In fact, no, it's okay. I can clean up your mess, Scout. Don't worry. How are you, Australia? Anyway, as I said, good to have you. Just cleaning up a little bit of a mess here that deliberately left by Scout. But yeah, and finally, thank you, Scout. And no, not... Oh, I did. That was left here by me. I think that was my one. So we'll leave that one there. Not entirely happy with that in reading up, but we did do this last time. I think that's quite a nice little desk. And we'll leave that there. It was, of course it was. Who else would it have been? We'll leave that there. And let's get going on this room. This study. It is a library, so I think it's fair to sacrifice at least some of these walls here and make them into bookshelves, and perhaps do something here. I think that would look... We have a little less room here, but we shall figure something out with it. Like I said, I don't want to sacrifice all the wallpaper. I quite like that wallpaper with the fleur-de-lis. And Sela has got, I think that's her actual connection. And we have, it looks like a some form of apologies. I'm just reading the comments here, and it looks like we have some sort of self-advertising guy there. You're welcome aboard, of course, but I'm looking. That looks almost like a bot. I don't think that's a real person. Anyway, c'est la vie. We can continue on regardless. Bot invasions notwithstanding. So let's get some bookshelves together. Now, for bookshelves, I'm inclined to, you see, we could do something along these lines here, and then go with just the standard bookshelves, which look more full in my opinion than the fancy bookshelves tend to. So the fancy bookshelves are here, and excuse me, the fancy bookshelves are there, and the border here takes off and up a lot. It takes a lot of room up, I feel. Hello, Scout. Welcome to the actual chat. Good to have you. And Astrea, it's fantastic to have yourself. It really is. Hope you're keeping well over there in Belgium. Let's get that there, and we shall do a standard enough border. I'm thinking an architrave. Architrave is the way to go. And welcome back, Sil. I assume that was a nasty internet connection issue. And we'll put that there and that there. And finally, we shall put the drawers down here. And to top it all off, we're going to have some... yeah, internet seems a bit spotty. Always desperate when that actually happens. I used to suffer from it terribly. Now, I do have an issue sometimes where the modem just goes on the blink. But it's completely random. It's not actually my speeds or anything along those lines. I have fairly reliable speeds now that I'm on fibre to the home broadband, and have had for quite some time. I'm thinking dragon glass if I can find it. It might look good in a study. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, it's connected, which not exactly what I was hoping for. Diagonal square pattern glasses. I think most of these are actually connected, which causes issues. No, I definitely don't want that because that tends to hide. And I think... oh no, that's not too bad. You can see the books behind it, sort of. Let me know what you think, folks. Is it worth keeping the diagonal glass? I know it can be difficult to see behind it. It's hard to see. We have 4 people viewing. That's magnificent. Okay, let's have a look. I don't think that's the runner. I would like the dragon glass, but it is connected, which causes issues in and of itself. Let's try the diamond pattern glass. Maybe that's a winner. Okay, it's slightly too detailed. It's a bit. It obscures the book slightly too much, I think. So I think we have 2 choices that I'm considering. We can go with the Gothic, which we use downstairs to great effect, and it's connected as well, so that's absolutely no use to me. I know we can leave one open, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to leave both sides open. Nor do I want to overuse this particular type of... I wonder, would the Gothic sliding glass be good? We'll give that a try on this side. Oh, I really like it. Yeah. Okay, we have our winner, folks, and that is the Gothic sliding glass. It is, yeah, it's a Gothic sliding window, and that's definitely, that looks well. I like that quite a lot. So let's have this door open and this door closed, and that tops off that quite nicely, I think. We've already got some ornate bookshelves in here. I can't actually do any more with them because they are actually only small vertical slabs. It's quite well hidden. So yeah, we'll leave those as they are. And I think a little bit more decoration may be in order on this side. And perhaps some seating area in the middle. So for here, I'm thinking something along the lines of a table there, and my favourite Jarmillary sphere, which used to be called an astrolabe, I think, in 1.12. Did you take it, my pros? I haven't actually. Do you know? Let's take a look. Let's take a go. Let's take a wander. This is magnificent. Yeah, okay, well, you see, this is why I have got teammates, because they do everything so much better than myself. Still, that is spectacular. I love it to bits. Sil just recently... Hello, Sil. Welcome aboard. Well, welcome again, and there's Scout. So, all three of us here. Sil built this work of art over the last day or two, and with all sorts of lovely features like the drain pipe, and come around the back too. I will, as soon as I can control myself. Okay, so beautiful little garden, and then round the back looks like it's clever use of the the lintels, very clever use, and this is just an area to be done. Okay, that's the cellar to be completed. I know that, yeah, I know that there's definitely some areas that have been beautifully decorated. And oh, look at that, that's lovely, the little drain area. And then again, this is my possible favorite piece. It's just a lovely secluded little balcony that's just brilliant. Like, look at that, the aspect there is just utterly divine. That's just magnificent. I love it so much. If I could live there, I would. So yeah, no, and wait, there's a whole other building. How did I not notice this? I was standing literally beside it and I didn't even notice. I'm actually quite literally gobsmacked. I don't have words. That's... My God, that's nutty. I didn't even notice it. But again, the reason I love this is because one of the things that I wanted was to have a kind of an enclosed feel from the square here, and that will be achieved by, because we obviously have to have roads out of it, that will be achieved by things like this building here blocking out the horizon to some degree, and that's why that works so well, and I think that's fantastic. We've already... My God, there's a whole vegetable garden and all. Oh, sorry, this is Scout's vegetable garden. Scout built this a long time ago. I was just getting confused where I was. This was a vegetable garden built when Scout built this house, and I think this is one of Scout's first houses that she actually contributed to the project, if I'm not mistaken. This house and the baker's here, which is also Scout's work. That's just... that looks brilliant. The fact that the two you have a little adjoining kind of garden areas. I think that's magnificent, and I do like the little clothes hanger there as well. So yeah, no, that's really insane progress for a day. So it is. So thank you very much. That's for showing me. As I said, there are no words. I literally can't believe I was standing beside that and didn't notice it was there. Nice little bay window as well. I do love the fact that the Conquest 1.16 has allowed us so many more options in terms of decorative windows and decorative little details on buildings like that. It's been like a revelation. It's like rediscovering Conquest Reforged all over again. Also very WIP, but I utterly appreciate the progress. And Asreya, just for your own sake, if you're still with us, and I hope you are, this is the area Scout's doing, and it's the rundown area, and just looks really gorgeous. Now, if I can find it, there's a kind of a little secluded square. I think it's in here, and like you have to go through this little narrow, like look at that little narrow alleyways. I think it's areas like this that are going to make this city a really authentic feeling area. And yeah, so Scout's been fairly busy. Excuse me, I'm yawning again. My curse when I'm on. I don't yawn all day until I start streaming, and then that's when I begin. And again, lovely bay windows. That's actually really good. Oh, I think I need to rob that design. That's magnificent. And again, just beautiful and atmospheric, and just completely it offsets the town square nicely, I feel. Yeah, no, I agree still completely. It's very cozy and dense and packed, and it's exactly what we're looking for. Anyway, let's get back to our little drinking den, so I can finally finish this house. It's been on my mind, and I felt kind of weird when I was building this yoke because I hadn't finished this building here in terms of the interior, and I dislike doing one thing starting one thing until I finish another. But there we have it. Anyway, let's get this room finished. I am thinking along the lines of a storage thing here. That's relatively decorative and it fits well. So I think this fits well, and we can have some books on it. Or again, just because it is a library, it is a study. There are going to be books, and in the center of the room, I have been thinking a table for the longest time. So I think that's the way we're going to go. So a nice comfortable chair, and that's leather. So we're going to go different than just the leather chair. Maybe the blue. You'll forgive me again for coughing. I had quite spicy dinner, and it sometimes catches in my throat despite having eaten it about an hour ago. Two out is far enough, I think. Okay, Scout, no worries, Scout. So to get this, you see, to put a table in the middle, ideally we'd have it to have a tree out, which that feels. Well, we'll give it a try. I think that just feels to be that it's too far out, and despite the fact that you can put something like a table in the middle, it just does it. I think it does. Yeah, no, I dislike that a little bit too much. So a gap of 2 it shall be, and we'll just decorate these chairs and finish them up, and add a little bit of clutter around the base, and then we'll be finished that bit. So what do we want? How do we want to do this? Now I could use some, though I'm not going to. I could just, for an example, use some of the boards, the bed heads that are on offer by the Victory mod, but I'm not going to. But they can be. That was not meant to happen. Oh, I get. So you can use that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use just the normal decorative wood, and something along the lines of the birchwood. I think I didn't use that, or oh, I did use that, so I'm going to use the oak wood this time. Wait a second. I could have sworn... Yeah, no, I'm going to use the birchwood. And that's gone too thick now because of a small little glitch. Yeah, I think that fits in quite well. And give it a back, like so. And then the next question is, how much do we want it to have a high back with a rail or something along those lines? So we could have on ornate, let's just try get rid of all this first. We no longer need these blocks, so why am I carrying them around? Now let me see where our ornate rail is. So that's our horizontal fancy wooden railing as opposed to ornate, I suppose. And either that or no, I don't think. I think ornate is the only one really that would fit. So if I put that there, and I put that, no, there, and get up, Druss, and I put that there. If I can manage it, no, of course I can't manage it. It was going to be too easy. It had to be done, and we'll have a look at this head on and have a look how it worked out. It's okay. It does block the room a little bit too much and maybe feels a little bit too big for the study, I think. Maybe the lower backed chairs are a little more suitable, so I think we'll leave that as it is. We're going to add a few more books again just to make me feel at home. We'll add the books there. We're going to add a bit of paper or something along those lines. Again, we could use Victory Mod here, and in fact I am going to use Victory Mod here if I can find the particular block that I'm looking for. Aha, no, not the treasure map, the scrolls and envelope. That could go there. And what sort of... No. I think that looks okay. And maybe just a drink in front of it, just to let them know that there's somebody here and is enjoying themselves. And let's get a goblet. Okay, I think that's okay. It's not the worst. More books, more. Astra, I completely agree. The more books, the better. That's my motto in life, and I'm willing to die on that hill. Books are never a bad thing, and in this age of Kindle reading and that sort of thing, I feel books are ever more important. And I am an avid collector. I'm sitting in a study with, I think my daughter counted them at one stage, and some like 700 or 800 books in the room I'm in. So it will give you an idea of how much I love books. Now, what we're going to do is put a desk here, and I wonder how I should do this. The desk is just going to hold essentially clutter. It's only there for decoration, really. So what we could have is something along the lines of a telescope, and just again, just kind of paraphernalia and junk that a big portrait of Scout. If you can provide me one of them, I'm sure Astrea will put one somewhere, but only if eventually on Darwin I get my massive shrine statue to myself standing over the pyramids with a huge inscription of "Remember Me" underneath. Now, let me see. What do we want here? Game of some nature. Decor. Oh, of course. How could I have forgotten? Now, No, that doesn't work, unfortunately. A chessboard. It's a study for intellectuals. Not that chess is an intellectual sport. I play it, so it can't be that intellectual. We are going to put a vase with some flowers, I think. The question is where to put it. Do we put it here? Which is, yeah, I'm inclined to put the vase here because it's more out of the way. WB, welcome back, Scout. And let's see where we are. Some nice flowers, some nice goldenrod maybe. Yeah, I think that works. Do we all like the yellow, folks, or something different maybe? Maybe purple? Oh, that's better. I like that better. Okay, we're sticking with that. So, maybe a wither rose. We will have to have. By the way, folks, I know that there's only a couple of you watching, but I have begun work on the lore of the world, and it's currently in its early stages. But it will have some nice backstory that will enable us to do some very interesting runes, and I'm kind of now. Yeah, I need to discuss it with Scout and Sil first, but the backstory the world lore that I have written so far, which can be found on the Discord page, it's leading somewhere, and it's leading to an idea for a very specific build I have, but most likely a long way down the line, but I think would be pretty damn cool, because I know myself do I want those there is the question. And what do we have here? Okay, we have, yeah, we can't put anything there. And what about over here? Yeah, no, we can't put anything there either. Okay, so yeah, no, the world lore, as I said, it is actually going somewhere. But yeah, no, I'm going to do these here, but that then messes up my shelving, very much so. No, I don't like that. Yeah, so more to follow, and if you do, that's not too bad. It is though, isn't it? It really is. We don't want that. We're going to go with the normal bookshelf all the way, and that's just the way it is. So yeah, finally to get back to the point, yeah, the world lore is leading somewhere. It's a work in progress. I have ideas for it, but it's going to take a while to get it all down on paper as such. And then even then, there are issues with regards, Discord isn't exactly the greatest format ever for trying to do this sort of thing in terms of maybe a wiki or something would be an easier way to manage the world lore. I don't know. It's all a bit lots of ideas and not much execution as of yet. But again, I'll discuss that with Scout and Sil and see where we go. Maybe a rug there, or would it look better here? That's actually not too bad. I think that's okay. And finally, we need something here, so a chair would look well, I think. Lots of chairs in the room. Ooh. No, a table makes no sense sitting beside another table. We need something for there. And I do like the chair, but maybe something else would be more appropriate. Looking forward, by the way, folks, to Conquest 1.18, where they're going to give us grandfather clocks and tall grandfather clocks. So that will be fairly exceptional. Could do it in World Anvil? Still, I actually have never. Okay, which is kind of like a wiki, but built specifically for world building. Really? Oh, well, I never heard of that. That's something I'll definitely look into. Still, Thank you very much. Yeah, that sounds great. Because exactly that's what we're after. You know, is a good way to have a good repository for all the history and the lore and all that sort of thing, and then we can just link that to the wiki or to the Discord, I suppose. So yeah, no, that would be ideal. So how are we looking, folks? Do you think this looks okay so far? It's not bad, I suppose. And it is the last room in the house, so I am kind of anxious to get it finished. Yeah, we have light there, we have light there, we have light there, so it's adequately lit. Oh my god. Disaster. Apologies, I did not mean to do that. You're going to see you're probably going to see a freezing in a second, and that's apologies for that. Well, I was only gone for a split second, but now finally our last corner, and then we are done. What to put in the last corner? I'm tempted to say another table, but I have an idea. It will take up a bit. Well, it won't take up a bit of space, but it will need its own space. The question is, do we put it on a table or not? If it's on a table, it will need to go on something relatively ornate. So, for example, this. Now, again, I'm just spitballing here, folks, so you'll forgive me. No, we don't want that. South, no. So it's north and east is what we're looking for. That's the one. Now, no. Where is my armor stand? There we go. And then we're going to fill it with a... of course, it's not spelt in... Conquest Refgorged, I think, is made by our transatlantic friends. So their spelling is slightly different than our own. But... how does that look? Does it look a bit silly on the table? Would it look better on the floor? I like it on the table for one reason. It gives us space here and here to do something, and otherwise it's going to look rather lonesome on the corner of itself, on it by itself. So we could have something. I'm not entirely sure what, but we could have something beside it. The chair doesn't look great. Oh, do you know what we could do? I think I've used these before somewhere in the build, so it's not too bad. We could say that this world is in the very, very early stages of firearms, and we have been using firearms since the the kind of Tudor period. The earliest of they weren't. I think they were matchlock as opposed to flintlock. Carved wood, ash pillar is beautiful. I'm going to TP to Scout to see what she's talking about. Oh, that is gorgeous. I completely agree, Scout. That's brilliant. And looks lovely and weathered and fits in really well with the carved ash wood pillar. Yeah, no, that looks really well. So it does. Very good indeed. Right, back to where I was. Now. So, last room, last decorations in the last room in this house. And I did state that I would complete this entire furnishing streaming, so I've met that goal, and from here on in my streaming is going to be a little less, well, it won't be quite as sporadic, but I shall try and keep to a schedule as best I can, work and family life dependent obviously, but yeah, no, I don't think this is too bad. It's got clutter, it's got books. To me, it kind of hits the points of all the things a study should need. Now, what else can we do? Maybe just a small. That's the vase I used already. I don't want to reuse the same vase. How big is the red Egyptian vase? That fills that corner quite nicely, I feel. And we can... Now, I don't know how this is going to look. I'm not terribly gone on it, but it does add a little bit of interest and ties the two ends of the rooms together. Astrea, just in case you're wondering, the gentleman who bought this in your shop because, as you shall see, you are the tailor and you are the threads person of the town of Riverton. I love the signs that FilthyCoin has on the victory mod. Really add. That's one thing that when I did campaign very strongly for actual overlay on Darwin. One of my main reasons for doing so was because I felt that my own plot rat Druss could use a lot of signs like that, and I stand by my convictions on that one. So as you can see, Astrea, this is your shop. And I think it looks okay. Anyway, flying straight on, and we shall see where we are. I hope I build it. No doubt you already have an empire. We'll work it into the backstory and the lore somehow that Astrea has a clothing empire in the land of Thrace, which is the kingdom that we're currently in. Yeah, I think I'm going to... I think that room and that study is adequately finished and furnished. And therefore, we're finished this house. So let's have a last wander around. The study is completed. It commands some nice views of the town and the town square. We have a storage area here on the top landing. A small servants' quarters. All the way up to the attic, which again furnished. I don't think there's actually that much wasted space in this house, and this is the central stair tower. Small landing and living area for the family to live in. This is the bedroom area for the main family. Nice master bedroom. And a smaller bedroom. And okay, see you later, Scout. We'll talk to you in a bit, okay? Okay, and then we go into, again, this is more of a living room area floor. So we have a living room with a pillow for the cat. You should have some... Astrea number 5 sounds magnificent, Astrea. Definitely, we'll try and work in perfume shop as well. Actually, Astrea, if you haven't already seen it, watch the movie Perfume. It's different. It's about a person who creates the perfect perfume and what happens with it. If you've seen it, let me know, because it's a fantastic movie. Yeah, so another bedroom. This is the guest bedroom. Bathroom. And all the way down to the ground floor. And on the ground floor we have our sitting room, which that's almost identical to the one upstairs, but let's hope people have bad memories. Dining room. You would know if you've watched it, Astrea. It's about a guy who has an incredible sense of smell from the moment of his birth and ends up becoming a murderer, and also an extra perfume maker. So it's a bit odd. Yeah, definitely different. Okay, so our kitchen, small water closet, and finally down to the cellar, which has a small storage area, kind of reflecting the top floor. A a wine cellar, and a servant's quarters. So yeah, no, I think that is a fairly well-off, wealthy individual's house. As you can see itself, it is a very grand, stately house, and it's on the town square, which would presumably be the most expensive. You have watched it. It's a fantastic movie. Well, it's watchable. So yeah, excuse me again, yawning, my curse. And so now that we've finished all these houses, well, I think Scout has to finish furnishing that one. Why is that missing a? Let's just do that. I think Scout may have forgotten that, or it got broken by mistake. Yeah, so we have to now start on this building here. Now the issue with this is that I don't actually know what it's going to be, and I tried initially, and just for an example here, because this here is forgive me, a vertical slab, as you can see, signs don't attach to it. I may actually ask Filthy if there's a shop in a bridge. There is, and the bridge collapses. Dustin Hoffman is actually, I think, in the movie himself. So yeah, no, really, really good. So we have to decide what this house is. Now, the only bit of furnishing I have done is do the floors. I figured no one wants to watch me build floors on a stream, so I did the floors earlier on today. The house itself is, well, it has an awful lot of windows. Maybe too many windows, but maybe they just like the view. And yeah, the reason there's no windows here is because that this building here will wrap around the clock tower building and go up there presumably. So it's that's where that is. Now to go in, the only bit I've decorated thus far is this oven here, and again the only reason I decorated the oven is because I wanted to have a placement for the, as you can see, I'm insanely pedantic when it comes to building. You can't actually from any point, without kind of going into spectator mode, you can't see that there are embers underneath, but yet embers are there, and like there's the arches. I could have not done all of that, but again, I don't know. I still build foundations in Minecraft, so that'll give you an idea as to my pointless building. So let us decide what to do with this building here. Any ideas, I'm more than willing to take them on board. I do feel it should have some sort of commercial value, or like some commercial purpose. The question is what. So far, I think it should be commercial, but also it's not going to be a grocer's, for example, or like any sort of general merchants. The closest we have here is the apothecary here, but we have, it could be a doctor's, I suppose, or something along those lines. So we have a cartographer's here, and there is a gambling den here. So that gives you an idea of, I haven't ever given it a name, but it might be an idea to do that. And I think actually Victory Mod has a cards block. I just have to find it. Milk, mortar, pottery, sack, sapling. If I pass it, let me know. Games sign. So I'll try that. Florist. I thought there was a specific card sign as well, though. Cobbler, honeycomb, sapling, wood, tavern, sack, harp, cloth, cheese. Okay, I'm not going to go through all these. Potion. Book sign. Okay, yeah, game sign will do. We're going to put that We're going to put that there. And we could give... Does that look good there? Or is it a bit too close to the wall? No, I think that's okay there. Stuff from raw new spices. Yeah. So we need to just give this a name because we want to let people know. Well, it's actually when I built it, it wasn't meant to be too well advertised. So maybe we'll leave it at that. Hold on, we'll just go quickly up, and here's the games room itself. As I said, and the whole idea was it was meant to be kind of not quite underground, but more a kind of a wink and a nod. If you're in the know, you can go there, sort of thing. A kind of a gentleman's gambling club as such. Now, so we need ideas for this building here, and we also need to lay out the floor of it too. So. One will tie in with the other, but I do think it needs a sort of a purpose. Maybe a doctor's surgery. What do we think of that? Would that do? That would be an idea, I think. So if we were to make this a doctor's surgery, first off we will need to lay out the floors. And okay, we're going to lay out the floors in wool because that's the way I usually do it. Let's just take a bit of green wool there. And if you'll forgive me, my skill at laying out floors is pretty pathetic. So we could have this as the primary entrance. And let's not forget I'll be doing internal walls as well. So we'll decide upon that now in a minute. And you see, if we're to do that, it creates its own problems. I always find it difficult trying to lay out rooms. I genuinely do. It's not something I have any great skill at. So I'm going to hum and haw a bit as I try and figure this out, and I do apologise. So the obvious thing is to have a kind of a central hall and then rooms off here and rooms off here, but I've always hated doing that. Also, when you're designing these sort of things, you do need to have typically your stairs up and your stairs down. So that will need to be accommodated as well. So let me see what we can do. And there are so many bloody right, so the stairs is going to be up here. Okay, I think that makes most sense if we have the stairs there, and that's taking into account the fact that there will be an exterior wall, internal wall there. So we can have stairs there, which means we will need an entrance way to them. And we can have the stairs like that. And the stairs will be there because the wall will be around. Let's just remind myself of that, because I typically don't. And that will be a curse if I don't. So wall around there. Walls around here, except for that bit. Now we've got plenty of space for additional features there. So the wall will be there, I think, is the actual... No, it won't. It'll be there. And again, this is not the wall to this house, is it? It is the wall to this house. So we can get away with a wall there and a wall there. So that means that this here is, well, that's because of the fireplace on the other side, I think. Yeah, you see, that is going to have to remain there. So a wall will be there, and that's all there is to it. We can hide it. Now, let's try and figure out the interior. Again, lads, if you have any ideas, really would appreciate them. Slightly bemused at what I'm going to do, but we shall figure it out. Let me see. So, fireplace is here. So that is obviously going to be, it will be suited more as a sitting room. We do have a, given that that's going to be the fall there, we'll continue the stairs here. And that's going to be the stairs down and also up. So we'll have to go up that way and down that way. So let's just do that while I remember it. Okay. We may have to redo the walls that I spent so long doing there, but that's life. We'll manage. We'll figure it out. And then the stairs up will be going from here, like so that's that. Okay. So what we need is we need access to that, and the access would have to come like so. And unfortunately, that gets in the way of the fire. You see, this is why I should never lay out fireplaces or chimneys until I'm finished laying out the actual house itself. It would make far more sense. But it's done now and I'm not going to redo it, so we'll work around it somehow. The question is how. And also, it makes no sense having a... It makes no sense. We're going to have to do a secondary stairs, because the stairs will come up into a living room or a dining room or something, not into a hallway, because you're bringing food up and down it. So in that being the case, we can seal up here and we can start the stairs here. We can even go in there or something. It doesn't really matter. So let's figure out this thing. Again, I don't typically like having... Oh, get rid of that. I don't typically like having narrow staircases and whatnot, but in this case, I'm going to. We can always put a thing there, and that's going to be like that. Okay, so it's a doctor's. I'm wondering if it is a doctor's, or am I just being mad doing that? So we could have a water closet here, perhaps. And again, this is where I tend to forget that I like to have double thick walls on the interior. Astrea, I don't know if you've seen this, but I'll just give you an example. So in this house, I got fed up with having rooms that had 3 different decorative walls. So every room has double thick walls, which sacrifices a little bit of space on the inside, but lets you have... Well, okay, it avoids this sort of problem, which was unavoidable there, really. Now, back to it. We're on almost an hour, folks, so we aren't... Well, we finished what we set out to do, which is a good thing. But in another way, we also haven't done very much. So let's keep going while we can. So the sitting room deserves to be big. The dining room will be a bit smaller. Dining room slash surgery. The more I think about it, the more I want the surgery. Do you know something? I don't think it can be a doctor's office. It just makes no sense, and it will be too difficult to accommodate everything. So we may leave it off. We've got one. That's the Merchant's Guild. That has civic building. That is a cartographer, so that's okay. Civic building here, private residence here. Not entirely sure what that is. That scouts one, and this is going to be the courthouse. So civic. So we could do with this being a residential house. Though it does go against the grain, I do think it needs something. You could have a small surgery here. No. Let me think. If there is, how many floors do we have? We've got the basement or cellar, 1 floor here, 2 floors, 3 floors. Yes, what we are going to do is we're going to have it is going to be a doctor's office, doctor's surgery, and to hell with it, that's the way it's going to be. So this will be green. Let's put that into green. May need to go in 1. Okay, we can't actually. Oh yeah, no, that needs to be there. God, the windows are in the way and they are quite annoying. Right, so what we need to do here is get rid of this wall here. Sorry, I'm planning here, so this is me struggling through planning, but we'll get there eventually. We just need a few more color walls. The windows really are getting in the way. I can't really make this much smaller, even if it is the surgery. And I can't do anything because that window's in the way. The window's really. So I've been really struggling with double thick walls to work on scale by help. Yeah, no, still you'll manage. Believe me, if I can manage and I have squeezed them in somehow, I'm just in the process now of being really pedantic with double thick walls, and I'll just give you the reason why. So I've done a double thick wall here, as you can see, so we can do internal walls quite comfortably. And it was actually, I think this is the house that I began doing what I was doing. So up here you have got a hallway, a landing, and it has got 1 type of wallpaper, 2 types of wallpaper, 3 types of wallpaper, and there again 1, 2, 3. It really started to annoy me that was the case. I think it looks terrible, and for that reason I began doing these kind of double thick walls, both internally and external, like between rooms, as well as just kind of on the inside skin of the house. Owl, hello, welcome aboard. I was hoping to see you. Great to have you. Thank you for joining me. Really do appreciate it. Owl, have you seen this world yet? I don't know if you have. If not, I can give you a quick tour of what we're doing and where we're at. But just let me know one way or another. But yeah, so what I'm struggling with here more so is the fact that I've got windows absolutely bloody everywhere, and it's going to start causing issues that I may not be able to avoid. So if I do a water closet there, for example, and this is the hall that goes into the dining room. No, that will have to. The water closet may have an odd wall, and this is what I'm talking about. I don't want to have this, but in some cases it is unavoidable. You watch my videos on YouTube. Oh, God love you. Well, thank you very, very much. Well, I haven't actually. Right, so if you watch the videos on YouTube, you haven't really seen how we're doing here. So let me just give you a very, very quick tour, if I may. It began with myself just playing around with 1.16 and then trying to play around with World Painter for 1.16, and that's when I created this landscape, which, as it turns out, isn't really suitable long term. That's a problem we're going to have to surmount at some point. So I built, this was my first 1.16 house. Yay! And it was alright, and it was just me playing around with new blocks like the corbel blocks and, you know, the new sideways slabs, that sort of thing. And, you know, the Gwent board. And then I built this that was directly off the Witcher 3. And then I slapped them both together and built another house. And all of a sudden, I was building a town again. I was in Druss Part 2. But I didn't want it to be Druss. I wanted it to be far better. I had... since I've been on Darwin, and I hope at some point that this whole lot is ported to Darwin, because Darwin is my home. I would never... I've had this vision of a world that would rival Project 8 when that Vizima is on, and rival Ardacraft in its scope. An entire fantasy world of, you know, Elvish kingdoms and Dwarven strongholds, all that sort of jazz. And so that's what this is, and this is a town within that. And yeah, no, and I was building it along, and then Scout, I convinced, I was showing her all. Scout will hate me because I was showing her all the new blocks and everything that were available in 1.15, and she wasn't able to run 1.15 because she was running on 2 gig of RAM. So she was barely able to run 1.12, to be perfectly frank. So I convinced her to get the... Well, sorry, I didn't. I told her what to run 1.15. She would need to upgrade her RAM to more than 8, because that's the minimum that we can run it, this version on. So she did, and then she was playing around with organics, as you can see over here, and was sending me kind of schematics of what she had done, and then we decided that I would put all the schematics of hers into the town. So it was really, really awkward. It was like she was sending me schematics on Google Drive, and I was uploading them and then trying to place them, and it created kind of issues like this here, and so this here. And then after talking amongst ourselves, we decided that we would get a private server that we could both build on at the same time, and just stop the messiness of trying to, you know, back and forth with schematics. It was a terrible solution. So yeah, so then Scout hopped on board, and then not long after Sil came along, and I was delighted with that, because I always feel that team builds are greater than the sum of their parts. Everyone brings something to a team build different than the other people, and with all that, it really creates a synergy that, you know, as I said, that the total is greater than the sum of its parts, and hopefully that's what we've achieved here. For example, that's a house of Sills. So yeah, so these are early houses that we were doing, and for the longest time I've been focused on building the town square and the buildings within it, which is essentially the center hub of the town. There will be a castle, but and Siltula brings mostly greenery and some genius buildings. So I've been focused on this. Sil had a bit of a hiatus because she was busy, and came back in the last day or two and knocked these works of art together incredibly quickly, like it just mind-bogglingly quickly. So yeah, so most of these buildings I just came straight out of my head. This one is an exception. Maz, this came from a special. First, I completely agree, Maz. That's, and I think for the scale of the project that's in my mind, it was always going to have to be a team build. It was always, and even back on Darwin, Scout had built 1 or 2 buildings for me and that sort of thing on my world in Darwin. But ultimately, again, following discussion with the others, we'll talk about possibly bringing other people on if they're enthusiastic and want that. So yeah, so town square is mostly mine, and it's all right. That is a great. And this is again the reason that I think, again, just case in point, why team builds are good. Scout had built the kind of foundations of this house and had taken it as far as she could, and then Sil came aboard and made some modifications and added this tower tier. And between the both, they created a really gorgeous building. So it really does work. And here we have the wise council of teddy bears deciding who to sacrifice next. And just to prove that, we'll give them red eyes. So there we have it. So finally, hey Ronan, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining me. My God, we're finally getting a few people. Weirdly enough, I was kind of hoping by advertising the fact that I was going to stream early, I would have a few more people on today. There is some weird Twitch achievement, and I think you need it for the next level of Twitch, that you have to have 10 people talking concurrently, and it says the most I've had is 9. So, hello, Dharma, welcome aboard, and thank you very much for joining. My God, maybe I will finally get that achievement of 10 people talking concurrently. It would be, I'd like that. I don't know, maybe it gives me, what it gives me. But anyway, sorry, Maz, this is Scout's area. Scout has completed basically this whole section. While I've been struggling doing one building at a time, Scout has been ploughing ahead and building this whole just gorgeous. This is meant to be the more rundown area. The town itself is called Riverton. It's on a river and it's town minus the W. Sorry, Paul. No, thank you very much, Ron. I really do appreciate you joining me. And in any case, it's really do thank you very, very much. So Scout has done this again. Just draw your attention to this. It's again, I think, just genius. Using the new carpet blocks as a painted panel on wood. It just looks really, really well, and kind of gives that level of ornate detail that you would sometimes see in medieval buildings. And this is meant to be a kind of a fantasy, so there's no kind of hard concrete time, but it gives you that. It's meant to be kind of, I suppose, late medieval. It's the timeline for it. Okay, so back to, yeah, no, I agree, it is. Ronan, you probably would have seen that before, so I don't mean to be showing everyone again and again and again. I think I can manage to make that work by doing, I'll thin the wall out here and I'll use slabs to be able to see that particular window. That's how I'll manage that. And yada yada yada, and there we go, internal wall. Boom 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 boom, that'll just hide that. And that will be there. Okay, but that way we'll know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so it is going to be a doctor's office, and hey, that works. Okay, and there will be a small surgery here, and then actually, you know what we can do? We can have that as green 2, just so I remember. So a small surgery here. A living room here, which, as I said, is going to require a second stairs down to the cellar. So we're going to have to work that out somehow. But we'll work that out somewhere along the line. This is the only placeholder, so I remember. There, that'll do. Not ideal, but just not ideal. I don't like that there. Let's get rid of it while we still can. We're going to have those stairs here somewhere. No, we... growls. It has to be here. Right, so, anyway. Yeah, because I forgot entirely that I built an oven there just to put stuff in. And the reason I had the oven was because I wanted to decide how many windows I needed outside, which... That's where we are. A physician's office. You see, Ronan. I'm not sure what you mean. It's cool looking, but I'm assuming it's going to be one of the other... Oh, sorry, I know what you mean. You were talking about Scouts, Scouts painted boards. And yes, I do agree completely. So, let's just go back into out of spectator mode there. So, physician's office there. So, surgery is there. We can now get rid of this. We don't need that there anymore, because we're going to be walking up the stairs here. So stairs are here. Let's just get a hall table. That can go there. And again, this is the issue. Ideally, I think in future I may actually plan out my interiors before I go steaming ahead with doing windows on exteriors and that sort of thing. But yeah, there we have it. Let me see, where are we? So we can have the internal wall here. That will look well, I feel. And we can also walk there, so that works. Lost the voice feed. Oh, apologies, Dharma. I'm not sure if that's my side or yours. I hope it's not my side. But I do believe that you're not the first person to have said that they have lost voice feeds and that sort of thing while I'm streaming. But it does seem to be somewhat sporadic in terms of when people have said it. Other people have had theirs remain, so I don't know. It's the God's honest truth, and I'm sorry about that. Lots of room for activities. Ronan, you have no idea. There's so much room here. As always, I built a massive house that I now have to try and fill. But we'll figure it out. So, I'm thinking if I put that there, it's very awkward in terms of the actual internal wall, but it will give me reason. So you could walk in there somehow. You're walking straight past the fire, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. We'll have a gander, and we'll just fill those windows in. We don't need them there. Actually, as a matter of fact, oops, we can use them as bay windows, so maybe not. Still, you have far more skill at building than I ever did. You know, so I don't know what you're talking about there. If I can do them, anyone can do them. And let me see. Let's get this room done first. So we have a doctor's surgery downstairs, which is sacrificing the need for a sitting room. Now we do have a dining room, and that will lead down to the cellar, which is where the kitchen will be, because we have the big oven there, and surgery here. So what we need is living rooms, and so a nice big living room I think is preferable, which funnily enough doesn't have any windows because, well, it doesn't have much by way of windows because of the fact that the other house will be backing onto it. So this house here, in the red outline here of wool, is going to be coming up along the wall here and wrapping around, as I mentioned earlier, the clock tower building. I understand that, yeah, there's definitely there's definitely a bit of relearning in it, and I had to do it myself. Case in point, I'm not entirely sure if I did, but certainly my earlier builds, I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I may have, but certainly I didn't intend to. Like at first, I was just pure. Okay, yeah. See, I didn't have internal walls here. I did in some parts of it. Okay, I did. I think I managed to squish them in somehow, but it certainly wasn't my initial intention. I think that it was only afterwards I decided that internal walls were the way to go, just to allow a greater level of decoration and a little bit more realism. And I think as well, to be fair, still when we do get to the kind of poorer areas, they won't be anywhere near as necessary. I feel it'll be a case that we're going to be able to just make smaller houses where wallpaper and that sort of thing and like rich decoration won't be as necessary. Now, so we can get rid of that and put that there. That makes a nice little bay window. We can do a feature there. And so we have a room here. This will be a different room. And this room has a nice balcony out onto the town square. Now this town square, for those of us who, that'll be my sort of building with these fancy. Yeah, I know. You and me both, and it pushes my sanity to the limits as well, still, because when I initially build the things and then I just look this vast carnivorous empty building and I say, what have I just done? How am I going to decorate this? But I suppose step by step is the only way we can do these things. So we could have, that doesn't even necessarily need to be a sitting room. In fact, I think, you know, I'm going to grab a sign so I don't forget what I'm going to do. That's probably a good idea. And I did this in the last. People who have watched the last room will have seen that I did this just to remind myself. So, URGRY surgery there. Dining room here. Kitchen and storage area. Though, if I forget that this is a kitchen, given that I have the oven built, I'm doing even worse than I feared. A hall, water closet there. What do you see? And upstairs, we have a landing. Right, so I think this is a more suitable candidate for the sitting room because it doesn't have the fireplace, granted, but it's big, it's airy because it has lots of light. So yeah, I think this is a more suitable candidate for that. And then I'm not entirely sure what this room could be. Any ideas, folks? Happy to take on. So we have a sitting room, we have our dining room downstairs, we don't need a kitchen. And we have our, well, I don't even know what this room is going to be. A study with a nice fireplace. There we go. Sitting room here. And in this room, this has a smaller balcony. It's going to look out onto the garden area or the yard area. So we'll just have to. Oh, holy! I've forgotten to do the stairs. Do we have enough room? Is the $1 million question. We may not. We shall see. Up, wrong. Let me see if we do. We should have enough room. We'll figure it out. And that shall go there. So we just about have enough. The stairs isn't ideal because I despise when an office. An office, yeah, Ronan, just, I'm not sure if a study and office are kind of one and the same thing to my mind. So that is the office essentially. Study. It could be a sort of a, given that it's a physician, now it could be a sort of a lab, a laboratory. The only reason I don't specifically want that is next door we have literally the exact same thing, because this is the apothecary next door. So I have his lab here, as he's creating all sorts of mental crazy potions. So it wouldn't be ideal to have the exact idea. Maybe also a room where meds are mixed. Maz, and that's exactly what I'm talking about, and that is, and I think that's a great idea. But I think it would be, it's too close to this room here, which is where the apothecary mixes his medicines, and it will be too repetitive. So we need to come up with something different. It could be a one. It could be a bedroom. It could be. So the study is there, and right, it's not going to be the biggest room in the world as well either, because it is quite small. Storage maybe? No, I don't like the idea of storage because it's coming out onto a balcony, so it needs a purpose. Right, we're going to return to that idea. We haven't figured it out quite yet, but we shall. We can fit that there. We've got 8 people. Listen, I thank you very, very much all for 9 people watching me. That's incredible. Thank you very, very much all for joining me. Do say hi. I'm trying to get 10 people talking concurrently, because apparently Twitch thinks that's great, and I have no idea why. But thank you very much, Darmot. That is fantastic. There we go. Bathroom it is. It's a small bathroom, but a bathroom nonetheless. And when they're finished, they can come out and fling their waste onto unsuspecting people who are standing below them. I love it. Ideal. So, now we're on to the upper floors. And let's firstly remember. Okay, so that's the external wall. So that stairs goes there, but then okay, I don't think I can use this for the whole thing. No, I can't. We have an issue, folks. The issue being that the way I have it done, the walls to the external area come here, so we're going to have to bring the stairs out by 1. So the stairs will have to go here, or they're going to have to wrap around a bit more maybe. We'll need to figure that out now. Australia, hello, and I have no idea what symbol that is, Australia, so you'll have to explain to me. I'm sorry, I'm being dense. So 1, 2. So if they came up here, they would need to finish it off here. This may be quite difficult, folks. To try and manage this particular staircase. Or I just leave this one wall exposed and just ignore the fact that I don't have an internal wall here in this one small patch of the building. Like I said, it goes against my own instincts to do that, particularly seeing as it's just a lack of consistency that irks me. So we have a bit of space here. We have up until, that's the limit of room we have in here, but we also need room to be able to walk in and about, so it can't be too invasive in terms of the stairs itself. So let's just for a moment fill out the walls just for a second. It will help me visualize what we're going to do as a solution. And this will all obviously be changed. There's no way the walls will remain wool, but as I stated, this is just a visual aid for myself. 8 people watching. Yeah, so right, so here we have it. Stairs here, and we need to get up to there whilst this is like that. So go up. Already we're going to have to turn, and I don't think we can. I don't think the room is there. We could have a platform, for example, here. It won't be a stairs, but it will be a platform. And then, hold on. Okay, so that doesn't work, but that doesn't. We don't mind that so much. We can work with that. So stairs there, which we can manage just about. Can we though? Forgive my ramblings, folks. I'm just trying to. This is a stream of consciousness as I try and figure out the issue that I am having, which is trying to fit a stairs into a small area while retaining an external wall here, or an internal wall here, should I say. So we begin there, and this does not, yeah, that doesn't impede you walking down the stairs. In fact, you can probably take it out one more. Could you? We shall try. And then put that there. No, I don't think you can. So that will have to remain there, and we shall have to have a stairs go up here. I think that's the only way it works, and that's horrible. That just simply, to my mind, stairs always drive me bonkers. Dharma, believe me, you are not the only one. It's an absolute nightmare for me as well. You are not the only one. Let's just try and get these sorted out properly while we're here, because I may as well, like, I'm going to have to deal with this problem sooner or later anyway. So may as well get it out of the way now. So we're going to put the support there. So the support's going to go here. Stair block is going to go here. Stair block is going to go here. I don't like that, but we can. Rails might save the day in terms of how it looks. We'll put that there, and we need a diagonal rail there, because we can put a straight rail there, and we can put diagonal rail there maybe, and the diagonal rail. Well, it depends. We'll figure it out, but certainly there, something along those lines that makes it just look a little bit more sturdy and stable. So we have a thing here. So what we want to do now is we want to put a rail there, so that it, and then we're going to put that there. So let's see if this looks okay. Okay, it's not ideal, certainly, but nor do I think is it absolutely horrific. It may well work in terms of just getting me up to the next level. And we're going to put we can't. What we can do, get rid of that there, and what we'll do is, this is going to be a wall, and we are going to put another support there. So that looks okay. Again, this actual stairs this stairs here is a temporary stairs. It's not going to be there for long term. Now, how high up is that support? Could we get away with another one? Technically we could. It doesn't look great though, so we'll just leave it off for the moment, and we'll see how we manage with with this going up, and that goes up to there, and we can either have it here, which, oh no, I don't think this is going to work. Okay, it does. Just about, and let's just get so just to be sure, we can just, and what we can do is we can put a trick of mine to hide where the stairs block up. Hello, folks. Thank you for joining me. All those who have joined me and are currently watching me struggle with stairs, welcome aboard. This is something that occurs regularly enough in my Minecraft life, that I get stuck by stairs. I get stuck by my internal planning, and I'm doing my best to, at the moment, overcome that by, okay, we need to get that there. And we're going to go back down the stairs, and we're going to put a rail in this side here. And it's a bit of a bonkers solution, but somehow I think that's okay. Look, it's a bit rickety. It's a bit out there in terms of its solution, but I think it works. We can, yeah, we're going to need that there. If we have, oh, do you know what we can use? We can use one of the corner rail blocks that Conquest allows us now. So, no, wrong one. That's not what I'm looking for. And nor is that. So I need it to be in a certain direction, which is not that direction. Spirals would be, spiral staircase would be fantastic. I agree. Spirals are one of the more difficult things, so to create. I want it that way, but okay, let's just try the debug stick. Facing east, no. Okay, top facing east, west. What have I just done? God damn you. Facing east, west. Okay, that kind of semi works actually. Do you know that? In which case I don't need that at all. I can put in that there, and then I can put that, oops, I can put that there, and hopefully have one there. Okay, that looks a bit better, and that makes it, the rail look a little, the entire staircase look a little bit more sturdy, I think. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And on to the next floor. Okay, so that's that resolved. That was a bit of an issue, but we have overcome it. Never let it be said we didn't do it. I wonder, could we do it, or is it too much? Away with you. Maybe it's just too much hassle. But maybe not. Forward falls, waterlog, facing west, facing west, facing west, top. Okay, do you know something? It is too much hassle. Forget it. So let's on to the next floor. And we have typically done, okay, so let's get a few more wools together. Let's get this done. So we need some wool. We need some planning. Red wool, yellow wool. I don't think we're going to use that many wools, but sure, we may as well have them. So just to recap, on this floor we have a study, a sitting room, a bathroom. Perfect. So this is the floor for bedrooms. And we don't technically need to have a space there. We could almost get away with that there. with that there. Ronan, I have to tweak my ME6 bot. Oh, okay. Jur, hello, welcome aboard. Oh, Jur, it's great to have you. Thank you for joining me, Jur. Really, really appreciate it. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. I've been following your progress on Darwin about your build, and it's just magnificent. I never expected anything less from you, Jur. It's magnificent. Thank you very, very much for joining us. It's good to have you. Genuinely delighted everyone. Ronan, at least you have a bot on your Discord. I'm ignoring all that sort of thing. Given that I still feel that the bots are going to take over one day. And when they do, I'm going to blame you, and I'm going to blame Diggy and whoever else for creating the AI that took over the world. So, what we're doing here is, okay, let's not fall into the same trap. Before we do anything, we need to have a stairs up to the next floor, which is going to be even more difficult because we're going to be dealing with our roof. Apologies, lost my own mind there. It is kind of, and yes, as I said, it will be down to you now. Stairs. Let's just. I don't care what stairs I have at the moment. I'm just going to try and plan something. So this comes out here, and if we have a, let's say that's the edge of the, so we can start our stairs. It shouldn't be too bad. I don't think we're going to have as many issues on this floor as we did in the last one, because we've already established where our boundary wall is, our internal wall. So we could almost. So, Jer, how are things anyway? Hope all is well. It would be great now if someone like Tom or something joined. It would be I'd just be beyond happy. It'd be fantastic. All the crew together. Okay, so maybe it is going to be a little bit more difficult than I anticipated because we're hitting the wall here. So again, I'm going to have to just give myself some visual tools as to where we are going to have to, and we can't go beyond that point there, but we do have all this space out to here, and we have more space going back, so we have options as to how we wind our staircase around. We could do much the same thing, though I don't think it's an ideal situation. Certainly I think it has to begin here. If we do that there and we have a, no, you see we can't. Oh, we could walk along. No. We could have a support there. That won't stop us walking up and down the stairs here, which is a good thing. And then that would let us take the stairs up this way. I keep on losing what I'm doing. That would let us walk up the stairs up this way a bit. And then, do we need one more? We do. We need one more. Hello, welcome aboard everyone. I see that we have a good few people with us at the moment, and I am utterly grateful. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to join me here. I'm currently trying to build a stairs that won't be in the way of absolutely everything, and that looks fairly okay as well. I sort of managed it last time, but in this time not so much. Maybe what we need to do is maybe we need to remove that and have the stairs go up a bit further. I thought we decided we couldn't though, because of that wall. That wall is in the way. And yes, it is. So we do need support. Yep, we need the support there in order to, or we don't. We could technically. I have a better idea, almost a better idea. So we can have that goes there. No, you can't get. Of course you can't. Typical. So, I know. Yeah, Ronan. Believe me, arguing with inanimate objects. It's what I do best. And now I've lost my. Now I can't remember my great idea to get up the stairs in the first place. Starting here. And we're going to walk up to there. And that doesn't stop us from having a room in there, which is good. And then we can have a support here, which also works out fairly okay. And then, in this case, a double support doesn't look too bad, because it's out of the way and it's on the way up the stairs, which lets us. Okay, I think we're onto something here, folks. Possibly onto something. That does work out well. Nice. Sort of nice. And does it work? Oh, it works well enough for me. Do I care about that much? I don't think I do. I think that is as good as it gets, as Jack Nicholson no doubt would have agreed with me in 1997 or whatever. Okay, so we could. Okay, so we can get rid of that there, and now we're on to our top floor. So this is going to be fun because it also is the top floor, but it's not really. I need to finish it off and do the attic space, and there's plenty of room for a large attic up here. So yeah, I'm also going to have to figure out that. Fun and games. So what we'll do is, I'm not too worried about the attic, okay? Well, the attic is I say it's going to be big, but it may not be that big. Come on, let's find some wood and just to illustrate this. So, where's spruce when you need it? There we go. That'll do. So it's going to be a small attic again. And it's going to be just for illustrative purposes. You won't be able to get up and see it too well, but you will be able to see it, and you'll be able to see clutter and what not within it. So yeah, that will do me. So let's just quickly, so I remind myself, we can fill this in here. I did say that who'd want to watch me fill in floor space. I guess I'm breaking my own rule, but of all the floors, it's by far and away the smallest, so it shouldn't take too long. And it will also help me lay out the rooms when the time comes. Why, I have no idea, but it will. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Who else is with me? There's if you are with me, I would really appreciate a word of hello, just to let me know who you are and where you come from. Are you from Darwin? Do you know me from anything else, or have you just stumbled across me? Please, as I said, I'm all ears. Let me see. So just before we... Now I can't remember what floor I'm on. That floor we have laid out. So this floor is bedrooms. So yeah, we can manage this fairly okay. And we can have a bedroom there, which will be green wool. That's actually going to be quite nice. That might be a nice little seating area because of a double window, so it'll be a nice kind of aspect. And we're going to have an incredibly long bedroom here if we're not careful. We don't... What we can do is we can have a small water closet or a small private bathroom or something come off it. I'm not too concerned, really, about this area here. Oh, well. Let me think. Now again, we have the issue with the windows being in the way. Still, don't worry. Wherever you are, you just need to stay here and remain with the stream. This is where you want to be. Let me see. So we can have an incredibly long bedroom, and this window still is in the way, which is very annoying. Again, why do I do windows before I know my internal area? I just, you'd think I'd learn a lesson, but no, it has yet to happen. We will figure that out. Yeah, we'll do something. But actually, you know, it's not that big a bedroom. When you look at it, it's not. For a big master bedroom, it'll need to be a slight bit bigger. So I'm happy enough to retain that there. As for that window, I have no idea. I'll figure it out when the time comes, which won't be that long. Dharma, you found me on YouTube. I watch for it's very relaxing, and I'm glad that I'm making somebody laugh. Hopefully for the right reasons. And it's not that you find me struggling over interior decoration. But even if it is, I'm glad that I make you laugh. It's always good to make people laugh, no matter what the reason. So more than happy for that. Let's get a few rails. We'll get this stairs sorted properly for once and for all. Bahane, August Iverado, August Iverado 3. Now stairs there. Okay. Do you know, here's definitely where we need a corner stairs if I can make it work this time. If, and that's a big if. Well, that doesn't work. Okay, that's facing the wrong way. So we'll try it from here. No, that's facing the wrong way. No. Oh, for the love of all that's holy. Sweet baby zombie. Why aren't you working? Surely there is. That needs to be. Need one there, one there. That cannot be that difficult. Just hold on. Let's see. Where are we? No, right. So facing. That's fine. Open. No. Okay, facing. Facing south. That's clearly not the right. There we go. Facing to north. Facing. Ah, there we go. Finally. So, you decorate far better than I did, and we both did our own stairs. Agree. Druss is one of those calm, relaxing voices. Oh, I agree completely, Ronan. But and I'm an excellent builder. I will have to disagree. I will, you know, we'll just agree to disagree on that point, Ronan. I pale in comparison to the likes of yourself and so many other fantastic builders that I'm privileged enough to know and to watch and learn from. And one of the greatest joys of Minecraft is the community that I've found, and that it's just fantastic that we can all, well, I firmly believe we can all learn from each other. I'm the exception that proves the rule, but it's, as I said, it's been an absolute, I can't put anything there unfortunately. Yeah, no, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know absolutely everybody, and particularly since I joined, like I did, and I do have friends from playing vanilla Minecraft and from a YouTube channel or two. For example, Sir Geeky Gamer is a friend of mine that I've made from over in England. Himself and his brother have and do play vanilla Minecraft on survival a lot and are fantastic. But as I said, particularly since I joined the Conquest Refgorged community, the people I've met in terms of just playing the game and the stuff that I've learned from them has just been utterly phenomenal, you know. And why don't you fit there? You do. Okay. So let me have a look at this stairs. And folks, what do you think of this? Ronan, I do appreciate the words. Thank you very, very much. And it's coming from you, it means a lot. And I need finally, so that goes there. What we need is that to go there. And let's see, so the wall will come here. That's okay. That's, again, it's not the worst stairs in the world. It's functional in terms of sometimes I create them and they're as rickety, but this does have logical function. It's supported well by the wall, and it's, yeah, no, I can live with that stairs, and I can put a nice decoration here of something. We'll figure that out, but yeah, no, that's ideal, almost. So bedroom 1, bedroom 2, we need to get signs together so I can remember what I am doing. And it's been nearly 2 hours. Okay, lads, I can't be with you much longer, unfortunately. If I even plan this out, I'll be doing well in the next 10 or 15 minutes, because we have real life to attend, and I'm sure all of you guys do as well. Far better things to do than while your time away on Twitch. I don't think, unfortunately, I made my goal of getting 9 people talking concurrently, but I live with that. You know, it's just one of those things. I don't know. It's something to do with a thing called Twitch affiliate, and I don't know what exactly that is. I think it gives you extra privileges or something along those lines. That'll do there. That'll do there. Okay, I can decorate the landing, like, you know, I can throw, if I have enough room, chest in. No, I'll throw something in there, a chest or something along those lines, just get it out of the way and take up the space. So finally, what we have here is our landing area. Okay, so to begin, to begin we need to have, I think that's, no, it's not an external wall. Okay, that is an external. Certain curses streaming through my mouth. We need a bit of white plaster and a rose plaster to complete the mix there, I think. Warm white plaster there, and that'll have to do. Okay, so I want to make affiliate. Thank you very much. I don't know what affiliate is actually, Rowan. I just know that apparently there's kind of, I assume it gives you more privileges or something along those lines, if that's the thing. I don't know. But it's there, and I am an absolute divil for, if something is there. It was like Xbox achievements back in the day when I was a far younger man. The achievements were there. I just had to, if, for example, Halo, I had to get them all. And back before there was, you know, the likes of buying DLC and you were actually able to achieve things like suits of armor and, you know, cool katanas to wear. I had to have them all, and that was just the way my mind worked. And clearly in the decade and a half since, okay, you get to have subs, exactly, cool. And there you go. That would be kind of cool, having subs and emotes and that sort of thing. Yeah, no, I haven't changed much in the decade and a half or thereabouts since I was playing Halo back in, it is a decade and a half since Halo was released, Halo 3. So that's scary. Now, how to do this top floor is the question. So we have a nice thing there. We could, the hallway can be relatively narrow, I think, on the top floor. It's not as necessary to have a wide hallway, and we can put a bit of extra decoration in along here now. In fact, I don't think we even need to have the stairs as, okay, we do. So we can put decoration along here, little stair, little something or other. Anyway, we shall figure it out. And yeah, no, that has to be, that's just the way of life. that's going in there, and that's going to be the same for all the windows up here. And that's because I do like having minimal amounts of because I'm going to be covering these in stair blocks just to hide the shingle of the roof. And oh, please, thank you very much, Sil, very much. And yes, Brendan, you're all. But Brendan, Ronan, apologies. I'm glad that the Conquest community, by and large, is slightly more mature than other Minecraft communities. There are a good few of us that are in our 40s and some youngsters in their 30s, but by and large, we're a slightly more seasoned bunch of people. Now, how to manage this final room? I am almost thinking that I'm going to have a sort of a, because I want to maybe a landing with a landing here with storage, or maybe a small little living area, a servant's living area or something. And you see, that will allow me utilize the windows here somehow. We'll figure that out. But that's something that they'll have a nice view of into the spy into the clock tower and the dealings of the Merchants Guild. Brendan is my brother. Ronan, you have no idea. You're not probably Ronan. I'm not entirely sure you're aware. I assume Ronan is the Japanese term for a mercenary warrior in your case. But Ronan is also a traditional Irish name, Ronan, and I know several people called Ronan. And there's also I work with people called Ronan. I also work with people called Brendan. So I obviously I don't know, mind fart, because again, maturity and age and whatnot like that. So we're gonna have a small bedroom here for the servants. Again, I'm reusing old ideas, but c'est la vie. And I'm after removing my goodness me. My daughter, folks, I shall put a picture on my Discord. My daughter's after walking in with a delicious smelling bowl of fresh fruits of pineapple berries and strawberries and raspberries, all picked fresh from our vegetable garden. For those of you who don't know, I and my family live on small, I suppose, but some people refer to as a hobby farm, other people refer to as a small holding, and this is the wonderful time of year that you are able to, like, the strawberries are in season, and all the fruits are all coming in season now, and it's just lovely. And yeah, here, I'll take a raspberry there, my darling. Thank you very much. That looks delicious. So apologies. So yeah, myself and my family are all very, very keen on growing our own food, and also very good. Oh, very well. There you go. That's it. That's it. And so great, strong name, good name to have, Ronan. But yeah, no. So we're very keen, and we have some small amount of livestock of our own and that sort of thing as well. So yeah, that's so it's always nice. I shall keep that raspberry till I'm finished my stream. Now we have a bedroom here. We have no store. We possibly don't have enough storage in the house. So what we're going to do, if I can manage it, and I'm not sure I'll be able, but we shall try, is where's my wool? Yeah, give that blue, and I need have I got green already? I think I do. Purple will do. You're so blessed. That is my dream. No, Dharma, it's absolutely. I quite literally count my blessings every day. I know how stupidly fortunate I am, and we do know. So yeah, no, it's it's just great. We have I suppose 10 or so hens. We have and so storage there. Yeah, we have some hens. We have our massive. We're on just over half an acre, and we have a small orchard where we grow apples and plums and gauges and all sorts of soft fruit like currants and berries, and we typically have enough to do us for a good while. And cherries, and we think it's very important to also pass that, particularly in the world we live in now, to pass that knowledge and that way of life down to our children. It's going to be something they're going to have to deal with in their lifetimes, probably far more than we do, and it'll become ever more relevant. Things like, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but like food miles, and that it will be ever more relevant in their lifetime, I think. And yeah, so that's another thing, and it's idyllic. It's a fantastic way to live anyway, and you get your small joys every day from it. So yeah, no, it's something that we're very, very lucky, and we live in a very, very beautiful part of Ireland too. I look out onto hundreds of acres of fields. I'll post, if Darren, if you're a member of my Discord, I think you are. I think you joined. I shall actually take a photo or two and post it on the Off Topic channel, just to give you an idea of what it's like out here. It's but I love it. I feel very fortunate, but I suppose everybody does, in no matter what part of the world you're in. If you're in any way comfortable, there are going to be nice places to live. Oh, you lived in one growing, but that's fantastic. Okay, so let me see. We're 2 hours into the stream, and I think we're almost done. We've actually, to my own mind, we've achieved quite a lot. I have only one last thing to do here, and that is, if I get the corner one in properly, if I can manage, which I'm not saying I'll be able to. Does it even need to be a corner one? I don't think it does. We could have that corner there, and we could have... Oh, no, not that. Okay, that can't go there, because... Yeah, right, so... What we don't want, we just want this to be... like so, maybe? Yeah, I can live with that. And... I'm glad. Okay, well, I'll post some ASAP. I'll take a few nice ones. The only trouble, Dharma, is that Ireland has pretty rainy weather, so often trying to get a nice pic it can be difficult in that regard, but we'll do our best. But yeah, no, I look out onto lots of forestry and a mountain called Mount Leinster, which is, well, it's actually about 30 miles from me, but it's a fairly significant, well, by Irish standards, a relatively significant mountain in terms of its size, and yeah, I look out onto that, which is nice. Now we're going to put that there if I can. I don't know if this is going to let me walk up and down the stairs then, but it should. Perfect. And I don't think there's any room for anything there. I could. We'll come back to that. You live in WA. That is Washington. Am I right in saying that? Washington State. I'm not entirely sure. And I have a visitor. My doggo has just decided to join me because they've left the kitchen door open. So my dog is my dude and my best buddy. So he tends to come into me whenever he can. And I love him to bits, but my study has a carpet and it just is a magnet for his hair, and trying to even hoover them out is almost it's not an impossibility, but it is very, very difficult. So yeah, no, Washington, and we knew a girl who lived over in Washington State once, over in Tacoma, I think it was. Haven't seen him for a very, very, very long time, and yeah, going from Ireland to Tacoma was a bit of an out there move, because typically Irish people tend to, when they hit the States or if they're going stateside, they tend to hit the tried and trusted places like New York or California, or maybe even I have a very good friend who ended up in Florida, but his reasoning was he met a girl and they've married, and he loved WSU, Washington State University. And Scout is back. Scout, you're joining us just as I might squeeze another few more minutes in, and I don't even know who we have here left with me. So again, if you do want to join in the conversation, I really would appreciate it. It would be magnificent. Help me get the community going as such. Scout, while and Sil is still there, thank goodness. And I don't know, is Sil still here? Sil is still here and making a cold room by the look of it. Nice. Excellent. Oh, very good. And doing a far better job on things like ovens and stuff than I do. So, lovely. And a beautiful wine cellar too. I love it. That's okay. That's where I was, and this is the way out. Excellent. Thank you, Sil. That's perfect. Just look at that. That's been done while I've been streaming and muttering inanely to myself. This is what Skill has managed to do. Like, that just looks magnificent and just gorgeous, lovely. That's fantastic. And you see, as I did say earlier on, this is why I feel that teamwork really does work well in terms of a build. To be perfectly frank, I don't think I could ever, even had I the skill sets that Sil and Scout do, which I don't, the project itself is just simply too big to for one person, I think. Sorry, I'm just going to draw your attention. I was looking at a photo of this earlier. This is probably one of the roofs that I am most happy with that I have done, because of the gentle incline up towards the apex of it. But anyway, that's near here and there. Yeah, no, Dharma, it is. It's gorgeous. And have you seen some of Scout's ones? Hold on, Scout, Dharma, you may not have seen the one Scout did. So there's just one over here, a vegetable garden, if I can find it. So this is one that Scout did a month or two ago now at this point, and just looks fantastic. And we can whiz over here. And you'll see that there's lots more. I tend to forget about gardens, and when I do, they're not quite as charming and as verdant as the ones that Scout and Sil are doing. I'll give you an example of what I've done. Small, functional, and with a dog kennel, and that's this. This is what I've managed. That's the limit of my thing, but I've got plans for here. This was the big house that I'm just after finishing furnishing, and it does have a yard, but I have yet to decide as to what to do with it. I'm thinking something along the lines of a stables or something, because it's a well-off house, so I think that they can afford to house their own horses. So, the ones by the river too. Oh, of course, yeah. Sorry, Scout. Apologies. So, as Dharma, you may not know, we have. So this is the kind of, as you go down towards the river, this is a customs. This is kind of an excise bridge that cargo is going to be taxed upon, and so the ships will stop here and freight will stop here and have to pay their dues. But it's in a rather poor area. There will be more lore about it. The lore will be mostly in around. We have a couple of ideas up our sleeves, and I don't want to reveal too much. But it will. And again, Dharma, it's the likes of this little narrow alleyway here that I just adore. I think it adds so much character to a build, and like the likes of that tree, like this is why Conquest Refgorged is so much better than vanilla. Like, look at that tree. It's just... picture your bog standard oak tree in vanilla, and then look at that. There's no comparison. There really isn't. So anyway, let's get back down to... I went off on a tangent, so let's try and get back on point here. And that's to get down to... So yeah, so this will be the river. And these are the little kind of small holdings. So the people are poor here. They need to have a source of food, and you know they have their own little small allotment gardens that, well, allotments is the wrong word, they're small little vegetable gardens, and it works really well. And presumably, like, we'll get to the point, but presumably we're going to have fishermen and little fishing posts and that sort of thing. But like, look at that. That's just little compost heap. Everything is just so well thought. I think, I'm not sure I remember this here, but it's magnificent. That's just really, really well done. Lovely little wood pile. Forgive me. Just up against the wall of the excise building, so you have again this lovely imposing aspect, and it just looks really, really well. Little hobo and teddy bear having their meal, as they do. You'll find puffins and teddy bears all over the world in little spots. But eventually, if and when this server or this project becomes available publicly, which I really do hope it does, people will be able to visit it and see what they're doing. Anyway, Scout, just to let you know what we've done, this will be a doctor's office. I don't know if you noticed or were here for that. Oh. Forgive me, one last time, I have forgotten as always to do our cellar area. Except for this, which I did. Here's one I baked earlier. This was an oven that I had to build because for the fourth time in the stream, I wanted to know where to place the windows in the room. So I needed a chimney, and that was the most logical place to put it. Now we can divvy up this room here. What do we want to put in here is the question. Obviously the kitchen's going to be big. So let's just get a bit of wool together, orange, and then I really do need to start considering going. I've been streaming for an hour, 2.25 hours now at this point. So, okay, yeah, right. Well, because I've forgotten there, and I've balls up essentially. Okay, so I've made a bit of a mess there because I forgot about it. Now I can. And I probably will. I can delete that, and they can become my external walls. You know, that's not the biggest deal in the world. It just means that I spent about 5-10 minutes creating this wall for no good reason. But you know, c'est la vie. In fact, I don't even need it. I just need to do that wall there. Yeah, okay, we can live with that. So we're going to come down here, and so kitchen area, big kitchen area. We like big kitchen areas because there's just so much to do with them. So get rid of all that rubbish wall there. I don't know why I built it in the first place. It's a stupid wall. And okay, well, I think there is enough. We can always change this. So that looks like it's a big enough area for a kitchen. And again, I'm now tempted to just remove this wall here, just give myself a bit more space. We're going to have... I have an idea. We're going to have a storage area for wood, fuel. A little fuel room. And I need my sign so I'll remember it. Where is the sign? Okay, fuel room. And, ooh, interesting. Oh, there's potential there. If Okay, let's just... Oh, there's definitely potential there. Right, what I'm thinking is... Scout, you're trying to get... What the... It's a massive kitchen, Roland, but I do like my... if you've seen any of my kitchens, I always go big on... Well, where possible, I go big on kitchens. Like in my castle... Well, castles are going to necessarily have big kitchens, but... yeah, I tend to go big on kitchens. Kitchens are possibly my favourite room to decorate, because we just have so many options in Conquest, and half the time I'm so spoiled for choice that I just can't choose what to do. Anyway, going off tangent again, this here is going to be an area they are going to drop coal and stuff into. It's a coal chute essentially, and we're going to do a... we need a stone there, and we need an iron grate. And I know exactly... I don't want the grill, I want the grate. Or what used to be the grate. Okay, so grate and metal grate. Oh, very good. So I'm still used to the 1.12 naming phraseology. So sometimes I'll call something that is no longer the case. So yeah, so that's going to be a nice little place for the fuel to go into. I like that. And we have to decide the rest. There's Scout. Hi, Scout. Also, Scout and Sil. I have a project that you'll love to do, because I don't want to do it. But it will fit in nicely with the lore and also the immersion of the world. And pay close attention if you haven't already. This is something I began and never actually... Well, I only kind of half did it, but we have a sewerage system. And it just, yeah, the beginnings are there, and again, I only kind of we can improve this vastly, but I do think it would be very, very, very cool to do. It would be nice as a little feature. Oh God, no! Oh God, yes, Scout! Oh God, yes! This it must happen. It has been decreed by God, and to a lesser extent by myself. And yeah, no, we and it looks terrible. Like, think of the 4 months. For those of you that don't know, myself and Scout, yes, the sewer again. And okay, so myself and Scout had and this is just a cellar of a pub, and this is where they put the barrels of beer down, and it comes out here. And yeah, so myself and Scout had a project on Darwin of a War of the Worlds plot, and it was going so well, except for the fact that we put so much detail into the world and so many armor stands that eventually it became almost impossible for me to move on the plot. It was just, it had so many entities on the plot that it became impossible for me to move with my poor little processor. But as an Easter egg, I decided I would, because a friend of ours, Carl, had begun by doing a tiny little area of a sewer, maybe 5 by 5 blocks wide, and I'm sending Scout to the sewers. Look, Roland, this is, where our friends across the pond belong. Savage, hello, welcome aboard, and thank you for joining us. You're I don't mean to say you're late to the party. I won't be that much longer on. I'm just regaling everybody who is unfortunate enough to listen about the story of my sewers on the War of the Worlds plot. But anyway, I decided I would expand the sewers, and got, as I am wont to do, a little bit obsessive with it, and spent, I think, between 4 to 6 months building sewers under a 200 by 200 area. And the sewers, you'd have to visit Darwin and look at and go to the War of the Worlds plot. The sewers there's a dark temple, there's Dr. Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes, his hideout is down there. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have a hideout down there. There's a road to infinity. There is magicians' hideouts. There is, I can't remember. I ran out of ideas of Easter eggs to put in it, but I have literally, I think, hundreds of Easter eggs throughout the entire sewers. it's bonkers. And I got the bit between my teeth, and I think I have a garden that goes into infinity or something. I just all sorts of nutty ideas that I had, and that was that. Anyway, Savage, we have just been right. So we finally finished in earlier on the stream. I don't know, is Astrea still with us? We finally finished decorating this tower, or this house. Here's the study that I was finally finished doing. It looks all right, I suppose. Not a million gazillion percent, because again I'm streaming and I was trying to be, engaging, and I can tell you right now I will not be participating in the sewer building project. Oh, as if you have a choice, any of you. It has to be done. Okay, if needs be, I will do it myself, because I'll explain offline. I think that the sewers is going to be an important part of the. We'll keep it simple. We won't make Easter eggs, but I think I have ideas to make it an important part of the. Just think, Sil, Ratway, and I hope I haven't crashed. I haven't. I just thought I crashed there for a second. Lovely, Sil. Yeah, so sorry, we finished doing this study, and then Savage, this is a house I built outside of the stream, because I needed to do something. I had committed to finishing that house's furnishings on stream, so that's now done, and I was at a loose end, so I needed to keep on working, and so this is the many windowed monstrosity that, in fact, it's got way too many windows, but I don't even know what that window looks at. Of course, it's yeah, right. Look, it is what it is. And for the rest of the stream, we were, if we can fill your paces, well maybe if we can, that would work still. I'm more than happy to do that, because I really ought to have done that for Darwin, but you know me and World Edit, I just can't do it. But I think that the sewer system, genuinely, it doesn't even need to extend to the whole city. Like, it doesn't need to be underneath every building, but just just think of the Ratway, and you'll know and I'm sure I'm giving away a lot there by mentioning the Ratway, but just think of the Ratway and the significance it had in Skyrim, and enough said, Oh, that's the other thing that the sewer had on the thing. It did have its own little Ragged Flagon pub. Yeah, so there we have it. I have been on for thing. I tell you what, we'll leave it 7 more minutes, and it doesn't need to be big. Yeah, no, I remember saying that, and I will try and live by that. If we do go ahead and build a sewer, we'll try and keep it simple and keep it sane. Famous last words, Dharma, you have absolutely no idea how obsessive I get when it comes to building. I am a peculiar person, and I tend to get the bit between the teeth. It's going to be a small castle, Ducon. Yeah, famous. Yeah, let's be realistic. Crean was okay. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Crean tends to be big, but like Lou Mayer wasn't the biggest. He finished the castle, and I am hassling him, and will continue to campaign with Ducon to finish the plot on Lou Mayer, because again, it gets the bit between my teeth when I see unfinished things, and I am guilty of that in the War of the Worlds plot. But yeah, so this is, sorry, for example, this here, it's obviously, this is meant to be a small jail, because the original building would have been a civic jail as well, so they just retained that purpose, and then they can stay here and then be tried in the courtyard across the way. Excuse me. True, Ronan. I do. Yeah, it's going to be a small fishing village, and for everyone who doesn't know, Ronan has a fantastic YouTube channel, so please all do subscribe. And I'm going to pause here, folks, and I'm just going to be right back, but please do stay with me. I am Am I back? Am I back? Hopefully I'm back. No, thank you, everyone. Am I back? Have I resumed? Please tell me I have. For the last couple of minutes, all I'm seeing is a flashing. There, I am back. That's okay. Sorry. So Ronan is well worth subscribing to and watching his videos. The only thing I would say is he is nutty for chiseling bits, so a lot of his builds are insanely complex. Thank you very much, Scout. I appreciate it. Right, so for example, this is Andy Dufresne's room. So I think we can add a bit here. Again, you can't see this from inside, but it's there, and it makes me happy that it's there. But we can do all sorts of things. We can hear you eating raspberries, by the way. I can guarantee you, folks, by the time I leave this stream in 4 minutes and 20 seconds time, they will mostly be gone. One of my kids is away for the night, so luckily they won't. There's an outside possibility there will be some left, but not entirely sure. I imagine there won't. So yeah, so there's no point in me really. Oh Christ, forgive me. There is. I have forgotten entirely to do this last piece of the puzzle. Okay, so we have a fuel room, and we need another room. A cold room. How about that, folks? Does that sound good? I think that's exactly what we're going to have. And for that, we're just going to wool. Get that there. And let's rob a bit of our own space. And then well, we can, yeah, that can be like so. And this is the cold room. So full of ice and nice meats. 100%. It's a meat storage room, and I think we can do. Yes, exactly. Like there's all sorts of floating glaciers and that sort of thing that we can do. Actually, I can for 2 seconds because we are approaching the end of the stream. What joy past joy called out to me, 'twas a grief so brief to be parted from thee, in the words of my good friend Shakespeare. And yeah, no, so we are approaching the end of the stream, and yeah, so F3 and then so yeah, so this is the cellar of the pub that we were in a few minutes ago. This is the entrance I had to the sewer because, again, I don't know why I did that, but I did. This was one of my first builds. And I also did have, yeah, so you can, it does allow you have a little bit. Now, I actually ran out of room up top there. That's why this was a bit smaller. The road is like literally directly above that block there. So it, but yeah, so a kind of a bigger version of this. And Ronan, I know you did your own on, I think, the last stream I saw of you. And so yeah, it's I always think it's a good idea, and you know it's immersive. It adds a lot to a plot, adds a lot to a building. Oh, there's another machine. I do love my machines. So I'd forgotten about that. Again, I've a tendency, as people know, to over engineer things. So people are this was before I added Victory Mod. So this was to be a wheel that it pulls the chain down. As it pulls the chain down, the barrels, as they're needed, go up and are pulled aside and then plugged for wine and port and everything else. So yeah, that was that, because obviously you need to have that, I think. Again, and as I said, I'm a devil for engineering. I'll just, before I go, and we have run over time, I didn't do much at all with regards to this build. Was entirely scouts, and you've all seen the monstrosity of my last. Did I show this on the last stream? I can't remember. And anyway, we're going to show it again. Yeah, so I did that yoke-a-jig there. And also just for the, no, it's not, it's in this one, I think. So this is a cargo. This, as we mentioned, this is an excise building that stores taxes and that sort of thing. So yeah, so for this particular, okay, it goes all the way down. Yeah, they come in here, they get their tax on whatever, and then the cargo has to be lifted. And rather than cart it all the way up the stairs, they have a nice little hatch there, and the hatch has a little chain and a little I don't know what you call it, little platform, and it's attached to this here, which pulls the chain. And again, I know I thought about this way too much. So it goes up onto the chain here, which sort of winds, and this goes down here, so it winds. So the person cranks this, which pulls that chain, which either, depending on what they want to do, either releases or contracts the chain from around this, which then contracts the chain around this, which pulls the chain up and down. Yes, I did think about it too much, and yes, I do love it, because I just get so much joy out of doing silly things like that. It irks me when I see portcullises that don't have counterweights, all that sort of thing. It just, to me, we have the ability to do them in Conquest. Why not do them? Yeah, Yokamajig is vernacular. It's like a dumbwaiter, essentially. That's pretty much what it is. And if you saw Scorms' last review of Druss, you'll see that there is a dumbwaiter that does actually have a working mechanism, but he didn't notice that at the very top floor there's the drum that it gets rolled up on. But yeah, Yokamajig, yoke, crack, that's all Irish slang. Yoke basically means anything, and I'm sure there's probably YouTube videos on how to decipher what we're talking about half the time, because I can understand that it can probably be mad. But anyway, look lads, we have been 2.5 hours, which is half an hour beyond what I thought. I make my own portcullis so they go up and down. No, absolutely, Ronan, but you actually do, I think, proper redstone kind of stuff, so I can understand why you wouldn't. But look, as I said, folks, thank you very, very, very much for joining me. It's been more successful than I could have imagined, and a lot more people have joined, and I am so grateful for it. So thank you very much. So just lastly, I did say, and I did follow through on my commitment, that I would furnish this whole building on streaming. It was done. So now there's no, I don't intend to stream every single time I play. It's madness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and schedule a stream maybe once, very possibly twice a week. Unlikely, but possible. But anyway, at least once a week. So you'll see more and more stuff done off camera. So for example, this, you might come back and this will be furnished, and I'll give you a quick run through it. But I can't be affording to stream all the time, because it's just delaying things, and it's not fair on the project. And so when I do stream, I'll go as I normally do. You'll still see the thought process, well, what little thought process there are. You'll still see it behind what I'm thinking, behind what I'm doing, but it'll just be when I'm doing it, and everything else will be done off camera. You'll understand that. In fact, I'll just be off camera. I do what I do. It just takes me 5 times longer, because I agonize over absolutely everything. But again, thank you so much for joining me, one and all. I hope you join me again, and I really do hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. And sure, we shall talk again soon, my friends. Have a great night now. Stay frosty, and goodbye.